All right. Frank-o-matic. Wow. Tony told me it was going to be hard up here, but I got it. Man, reading the paper is something different than. Whew. All right. Well, I had to give my thanks to my higher power first of all. And second, this is my second rodeo here. Uh, I was about maybe about a week in, left over to graduate, but John was that 19th Street was my house manager on 14th Street, and then I had got a call that that my dad had passed away, so uh, I had Chris and all them were on the phone, because I wasn't gonna come back. I wasn't gonna come back because my even though my dad did a lot of pain and hurt to me, um, put scars and all kinds of stuff on my body. Uh, like in the Bible it says that like you should honor your mother and father. So I take that deeply. But it also says that you shouldn't tempt your children either. But they had no manual or anything like that on how to raise a child. So I guess they did it the way they thought it was right, which I know it's not right. But yeah, my drug addiction came first was weed, because I wanted to like mellow out the pain, I guess you could say. My mom, my dad, my mom, well, my mom cheated on my dad, and then my dad cheated on my mom, and they split up. But before they split it up, I heard them arguing in the room that, well, you gotta leave, no, you gotta leave, and then they said, well, F it then, we're both gonna leave. And I ran to the phone like, playing possum, and like nothing, they just got their shit and took off. So it left me there to at I think I was like 7 years old, about yeah, about to be seven, and I had to fend for not only myself but three siblings that were there in the house, and it was freaking hard. It was hard. So I would go make sure that everybody went to school. I went to school. I only had one pair of pants and one pair of short and a t-shirt. And I know you guys remember the LA Gears and all that stuff. Well, I had a pair of LA Gears that had holes in them, but I didn't even care, as long as my siblings had. So after school, I made sure they got home, they were on their homework, and then I would take off and go to the gas station, and I would pump gas there from after school to the nighttime, and then I would come back with food and all that stuff to put on the table, put the money to the side for the bills. I mean, this went on for at least a good 3 to 6 months, and yeah, it was scary. It was scary, and but I had, like dudes that see me there pumping gas, and they were like, "Hey, bro, what's up? I got real. I could, if you really want, you can make some real money." And I was scared because like my siblings is what I wanted to make sure that they were all right. So I know if I did something wrong, they wouldn't be all right. But it was eating at me at times and times and times again. Too, I was like, all right, you know what? Let's try this out. So I started smoking, weed and whatever. When I didn't like it, so he told me if you want to try something different, you go to the bathroom. Well, at this time, I was already like, what, 13, and I was in a bar already working, because I did my line inside the bathroom, and it was like, I mean, I didn't even care about anything afterwards. But and it's when I started drinking, started smoking cigarettes, like everything just went downhill. But I think the biggest thing though, like fast forwarding and stuff, it was more of the abuse where I didn't want to be at home because like my mom and my dad would argue about things, and my dad would come and attack me for them arguing. I got my fingers slashed from a box cutter my dad cut me with. He stabbed me in the head with belt buckles. Um, my mom put my hand on the burner and burned my hand, and I was like, damn. Something happened to me when I was younger too, and I told my dad that his brother did something to me, and he said, "Don't effing fuck, don't effing tell me that, that's my brother. You don't, and so at that point, at that time, I was like, damn, if I can't go to my mom and I can't go to my dad because they're over here, like basically in my head, I was small. They're chopping me up. So I when my dad put me in the closet, he used to lock me up in a closet and keep me there for days. And like believe it or not, I started getting traumatized, and I was in there and like I heard my grandma talking to me, but my grandma wasn't passed away yet, and she was telling me that everything was going to be okay once I get older, and they are now, thanks to Fred Brown, but. When I was in the closet, I found something sharp and I slipped my wrist, and it happened to be the same box cutter that my dad slipped my fingers with, and there was this one time that I wanted to do mechanics, with my pops, because I wanted to be just like my pops. He was a gang member. He was a Harley, what do you call it, a Hells Angels. I wanted to learn how to do motorcycles and whatever, whatnot. So he told me, okay, well, I don't think you got the balls, but come on, let's try it. So I go underneath underneath the van to try to hold up the transmission. And, the transmission is heavy, but I'm down there and I'm helping them, and I couldn't hold it all the way up because my arms started getting tired. And at that time, I was like, I know I'm going everywhere, but at that time, I was like 11, maybe 14, I don't know, somewhere around there. But he said, get the hell up out from underneath the car. And I got out from underneath there. And he grabbed the screwdriver that he had, and he stuck me in my leg right here. And I was like, what the, what'd you do that for? And he was like, well, I'm trying to teach you the way I learned. And I was like, wow. So I just turned around and ran. I didn't come back home. And I ended up getting busted. I didn't mess with no drugs or anything like that when I was busted. But I could just say that most of all my downfall was starting to get PTSD, depression, suicide. I was just, man, I wasn't even here. I wasn't even here, like, I was just like I was not one of those zombies that be out there, all high or anything like that. Nah, but I wasn't here like spiritually, like my spirit wasn't even there, All I knew was hatred, kill, 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 putting pain on other people because like I was going through a lot of pain. But my grandparents got me out of McLaren Hall because they put me there. Well, I've been abandoned, I've been abandoned, so like I have a fear of being abandoned, Uh, my parents left me at a laundromat when I was about maybe 4 years old. And I thought, they were gonna come back, but they didn't come back for 2 days. Um, then they took me to McLaren Hall. Well, they took me to Children's Court, and I was there at Children's Court, and they told me to go play basketball. Well, that's the reason why I don't like basketball, because they told me to play basketball, and I was trying to like get my dad's attention through the window, like, look, I'm making a basket or whatever, whatnot. And he was like, and I would turn around again, and I went to the door, and I was like, trying to yell at him. And I said, are you gonna come back for me? Are you gonna come back for me? And they said, yeah. So I'm making baskets or whatever. And then I turned around and they were gone. So I just sat on the basketball right there, just waiting for them to get back, you know? And that's when the lady came and told me that they're not coming back no more. And, you know, I just felt like that was, you know, wow, you know? Um, yeah. So, yeah, I went to McLaren Hall, and my grandparents, I was there for like a good 3 months, 4 months, and my grandparents came and they got me out of there, you know, and I lived in the back of their station wagon, and you know, they didn't have much because, well, they did, but they didn't at the same time because they kept moving because their house kept getting shot up. You know, my grandma was a godmother of something, and my grandpa was a godfather of something, and they had places, houses, and all that kind of stuff. Thank you. And just to say Jesus, I was just trying to. Dang. Yeah, so my bedroom was the back of the station wagon. My grandma got me a TV to hook. She hooked it up to the cigarette lighter thing, and she got me a little game that hooks up, that hooks those two cords to the back of the TV, and you know, and okay, that was my house, you know, that was my room, and yeah, you know, and then my family, they all had Easter, they all had Christmas, they went to Disneyland and all kinds of other stuff, but they always left me in the car, you know, and I always just said to myself, like, what did I do? What did I do? And it's still to this moment, like, I'm loving myself today though, you know, but at times, like, I'm like, what did I do, you know? But then as I be reading, and then it's like I guess like I'm a God, one of God's chosen ones, you know, like we're special, you know. We have to go through these things, you know, to help other people, you know, because yeah, you know. And ever since like my grandparents passed away, like yeah, that was that man, my whole world just went topsy turvy, you know, upside down, and yeah, I was in a yeah, okay, Frank, addict. Thank you.
Keep going, keep going.
Frank, I wanna ask you, so I'm really proud of you, but like,
Doing a great job.
what is it that you found freedom since you've been in Fred Brown and working on yourself? What is it that you've actually, you know, gotten to the core of yourself that you can actually feel love from?
Myself, myself today, Fred Brown, Chris, number one, because if I don't believe if it wasn't for him to get, for my brothers that graduated last year to call Chris to get me on the phone, I wouldn't be here. You know, like, well, now I'm not, I wouldn't be here, but I wouldn't have came back that last time. You know, I probably would have been like spun out. Like, yeah, my dad was my everything, even though he, you know, but he was my everything. You know, and I mean, Jesus. I was his caretaker, you know. I was everything, you know. They say when they get older, like they're your kids afterwards, you know. So that's what I did, you know. I cleaned them, everything, like, you know, and like I didn't feel no shame or nothing like that, you know. Even after looking at myself and everything, but you know, time heals all wounds, you know. So like, yeah, I just want to thank Fred Brown, 19th Street, Jim, John. You know, Jim, everybody knows him as an asshole, you know, and excuse my language, but him being an asshole, you know, seriously, it's what got me grounded today, you know. It got me grounded today. It got me focused on what I'm here for. Like, it's no more playing around, you know. Before last year, yeah, I was playing around with it and all that because like I already knew I was gonna get spun out again because of my dad passing, you know. It was like a reservation, but today I thank Fred Brown for, at 119th Street también, you know, for keeping me grounded and focused, and I could take that on to, you know, to sober living, you know, and I'm a people person, you know, like I thought I was gonna be like clamped up in a shell, you know, but like, nah, I wanna give what I learned, what I know, how I feel to others, you know, cause I mean, there's a lot of people, brothers and sisters that don't have fathers, that don't have a big brother or whatever, you know? So, like, I try to be, you know, like that, you know? But, yeah, thank you guys.
Good job, Frank. Good job.